Now it comes to September and food plots. There's a lot of food plots that are failing, and sometimes you just don't know what to do about it. I feel for people out there, and I think people have this vision of having the latest greatest seed blend, the latest greatest seed variety, and in this beautiful field like this, and they're just not going to get it for whatever reason. Weeds, drought, poor seed for the timing, poor timing practices, poor planting practices, uneven soil, poor soil, not putting enough lime for pH, or plot start on it, or fertilization. The plants aren't able to uptake the nutrients because you have low fertility levels or low pH levels. So you look at a lot of fails that can happen. I'm going to point out this one of our food plots on our property that is a new food plot, meaning it was scraped out and dozed and created piles of brush around here. This is the second season we've had it. And this soil down in this lower level, especially for brassica that's a little bit more soil dependent and quality soil dependent, is a little lacking. And so you can see we're starting to get some yellows in here, a little bit of white. We have some big, beautiful brassica in certain spots, and then we have a mix. And so to me, that's soil quality. And I would say when a dozer took the top off, you had areas where he took too much topsoil and then areas where there was enough topsoil left. There's been a lot of erosion down in here in previous years. So I'm going to look at an area like this. If I have on any food plot, with weeds or not, you get into September and you have enough soil exposure where sunlight can get actually to the ground, it's not about coming in here and tilling it up, disking it up, and trying to plant something. Whatever is in your food plot is going to have some value. But if you have a lot of soil showing, to me, it's a perfect time to layer rye. Annual rye, winter rye, field rye, grain rye, not ryegrass. There's a big difference. Rye, grain, winter rye, fall rye, whatever, will look a little bit more like brown rice than a sliver of grass seed. That's not what you want. When you come into rye, now in our area, and now if you're Louisiana, we're in southeast Minnesota, southwest Wisconsin. If you're in Louisiana, you could push these dates back by 3 to 4 weeks. If you're up north, northern Minnesota, UP, Michigan, upstate New York, you could probably push these dates ahead, meaning more towards September 1st, last or third, fourth week of August. But I'm looking at when you get into that time frame of your ideal starting window. Again, up north, that could be as late as last or as early as last week of August. In down Louisiana, areas more southerly climate, Mississippi, you might look at the third week of September. So you're pushing that back maybe in the fourth week of September. When you get into that starting window, I'm looking at about 150 pounds of rye per acre. That's a good thick coating. When you're planting ag for rye, you're at about 100 pounds per acre. Same with wheat. You can use wheat in a pinch too. But I'm putting that about 150 pounds per acre. And in our case, when you get to that third, fourth week of your window out, meaning our window might start on September 1st, Labor Day weekend. When I get towards the end of September, I'm looking at moving that up to 300 pounds per acre. Because at that time, you're not going to get as much vertical growth. You want horizontal growth. People say, why not use oats? Why not use wheat? Well, rye is the most soil tolerant, pH tolerant, cold weather tolerant seed that you can literally plant. And so even more so than wheat. Wheat needs higher pH, generally favors better soil. Rye will grow just about anywhere, including the back of my pickup truck most years. And it'll grow in the coldest and germinate in the coldest of temperatures, even over winter wheat. So right there gives it an advantage. When rye is at maturity next year and throughout the growing season, it grows faster with more volume. So you get more volume in that year's growth. And so that's another reason it gives you more volume. And again, you're just looking at a food plot. Say we put rye down here, and let's say these brassicas are low, starting to get nipped on, then we're still going to have rye filling in all those bare spots. We're going to have the leftover brassica. So there's a lot of goodness to eat in here. No need to till it all up, even if we don't like the condition of the brassica at that time. So at that time, we're doing really well just filling it all in, and that'll work out really well. Now, that's that volume aspect. We're in that 3 to 4 week window, 150 pounds on the front side, 300 pounds on the back side. And then, you know, rye, it's going to grow the easiest. Now, what happens when you get into that early season, you have that fresh rye. What I like about that, and this could apply to wheat too, is that that'll be green, and it'll be green all the way till spring. So when you have a little bit of brassica left over and they're eating out the rest of your food plot, you have that young rye coming in, and you have that nice oomph that's growing in the coldest temperatures, then there's a lot of young tender shoots that deer can eat, and they'll actually start to leave alone some of the stuff they'd over browsed on before that happened. So that's a really good thing. You actually get some growth out of the brassica if it's eaten down, because they turn their attention to that young rye. So that's reason number 2 to use rye, more volume than wheat. Oats, on the other hand, there's a really short window in there. So let's say you're doing this up in northern Minnesota and your first frost is the 3rd week of September. Well, oats would be a terrible choice because it can only survive a couple frosts and it's starting to turn brown. Like northern, even our cold hardy oats that we sell, we have tundra oats, tundra peas. And even when you get into a cold hardy oat of any kind, they're all about the same. When you get into a cold hardy oat, then you get into that period of frost and freeze. Up in northern Minnesota, upstate New York, that oat, even if it's cold hardy, is going to start turning brown in November by a vast amount of experience of different oat qualities. I don't like that. And so typically we're not using oats at that time of the year because you have a really short window of growth and potential growth. Rye or wheat, for example, you get several frosts in a row, freezes, all of a sudden it warms up for 2 weeks straight, you get growth on it, and good growth, and it stays green. It doesn't knock it down to brown and usefulness to the deer. A third reason, which is really important with rye, is it gives you the most volume in that cold temperature. So that means in the spring, the most often missed time in the deer hunting world and food plot world is in early spring. Rye excels in early spring. And so it's going to be the first thing that grows up, first thing that's green, long before alfalfa, and a long time before clover. Clover's before alfalfa. Alfalfa would green up last. And so that window of rye being green and available, and snow melt, and deer starting to hit those open fields. They've been driven by, you can drive by our old food plots in the UP of Michigan that were all rye, and the snow is melting in the center of the food plot. It's exposed to the sun, and the deer, there'll be 7 or 8 deer just hammered around this small circle that's like, it looks like you put feet on the ground. It's just the rye they're getting to, and there's enough snow open that they can get to it, and they're digging down and finding it. And that is a time that they can forage on green vegetation that's moderate in quality, nutrition, and attraction. They crave it until spring green up. So once spring green up hits, they ignore the rye because there's no value in it unless you're in a really high deer density area and there's nothing else available. Then they'll go to that rye and they'll really enjoy it. So that's a time when we have rye and we coat it. That's not a bad thing. In fact, our fall power down there, that'll get eaten down enough in the early season. The brassica will keep growing. It grows a little bit slower. I want them hitting that fall power down there and starting to hit it hard over the next couple of weeks, because then we can go in there, put 150 pounds of rye per acre right over that. And on that, we have that nice strip of rye coming in the spring. And it's really helpful to the deer and critters because there's nothing else green at that time. So there's reasons, you know, food plot fix is so easy to lay. It sounds too easy, and we're just broadcasting it through an earthway spreader. We could also go in, if we're doing it on a large scale, like over our fall power and we have 4 acres, we might put in the cone-shaped hopper on the back of a PTO mounted spreader on the back of the tractor. That works great too, but really easy. You're not worrying about tilling, disking, call the pack, and just throw it in that depleting food plot, dead food plot, droughted out food plot, overbrowsed food plot, and it'll work. There's a lot of reasons we use rye, and if you can get your hands on it, you should too. And wheat would be a close second. If that's all I had, I'd definitely use wheat, and I wouldn't mind that. We'd definitely use it. So, and you should too.